Hi guys, welcome back to the garage for the next instalment of our Honda 554. It's been a few weeks since I've done anything to it. I was also out of the country for some time. If you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that. And I'll be doing the Harley. But anyway, it's time to get back onto it. Now, a quick update before we get going. On the 6th of July, I applied to Honda UK for a dating certificate, and they warned me it could take up to 6 weeks because of the pandemic. So after 6 weeks I got back in touch and said not heard anything, and basically they just fobbed me off with an email saying we can't find it, we are looking, we'll let you know. So here we are now at the very end of November. So how long's that? All of July, August, September, October, November, 5 months. So 5 months I've been waiting, so I've given up. Honda UK, very disappointing. I really thought Honda were one of the better manufacturers, to be honest, but my faith has been misplaced. So I will probably end up going via the Vintage Japanese Motorcycle Club or via the Honda Owners Club UK, both of whom provide dating letters, so I'll just see which one's the cheapest, basically. So that's that. Now, I'm not that bothered because we've got the cosmetics to do, which is what we're going to start with on this video. And also it's got to be registered, and as we speak, outside the snow is lying crisp and deep and even. So I won't be riding it anyway. So this is a project running up to springtime, so it needs to be painted by then. Everything mechanically seems fine. So just paintwork, cosmetics, small bit of welding on the exhaust, get it registered, and then come springtime, it'll be ready to go. That's the plan. So today's video, we're going to start looking at the bits and pieces, and starting with the side panels. So as usual, it's all on the bench. So let's go and have a look. Right, our side panel, when I took it off, unfortunately fell into several little bits. And there are little cracks even amongst those little bits. Now there's no point doing anything fancy with this. I'm just going to stick it together until I can try and find a better replacement, which will either be a brand new reproduction or a second-hand one if I can find a second-hand one. Now I'm just going to use soldering iron, which is warming up. There's a crack runs right down there, which I just sealed to stop it getting any further. On this side you see the gel coat's cracked away. I'm going to have to go down that with a Dremel or something and V it out before I fill it. But in the meantime we're going to have to try and sort out making this at least secure so I can go back on the bike. So we're going to bodge it up. I did actually have a go at proper plastic welding once, using one of the large hot air blown guns. That was quite good fun, but obviously I don't have one of them. So we're going to do it the bodge way. So I'm going to try and line that up, if at all possible. Close. So we'll start by getting it. Try and get a bit in there. I'm just going to drag the plastic across from one side to the other to encourage it to blend together. It's not really hot enough that yet, but there we go, we're starting to get there. So we'll now work our way across from this side. I need to try and squeeze that together and let you see it at the same time, which is not very easy. There we go. So now I'll work my way down there. I'll bring it back in a second. Middle piece I did, and then I've swirled it as well. So in a circular motion down the crack. So that is now quite secure. So I'm going to do that bit on there next, and then we'll come back again and have a quick look at the outside. Right, that's it all together, and it's now sound. That will probably last some considerable time as it's not coming on and off. And this is the electric side cover on the left hand side, so it shouldn't come on and off very often. So I've got some time then to find one. And then on the front I've gone down every single crack, V'ing it out. So all the little bits on top now will get sanded off when I'm sanding the paint off, and then filled. So that's the plan for that. I'll bring you back when I've got rid of the... In fact, while we're here, shall we have a look and see if we can get these off? You can get specific paint stripper that will be safe on plastic. I think marine type shops sell it, but I haven't got any. So we shall do it the old way. Let the hot air gun lift the paint slightly, which should get us underneath the letters. There we go. Even if they're lacquered on, you should be able to get underneath it to get it off. Which we have. Excellent. Right, I'm glad they're coming off. So I will just strip the rest of the letters and then sand it down. So that's it filled and stoppered up. There's a very small mismatch of the rim there, but to be honest, once it's sitting on the bike like that, you can't see it. It's only on that very edge. I might have another go with a bit of stopper there. And then it's been sprayed with a plastic primer aerosol, and then primer it properly, because there are still imperfections where the numbers had been, but a couple of good coats of primer and then a sand down, and I think we'll be pretty close. But it's not 100%, but it's good enough that when it's on the bike, I don't think we'll see any major defects, and it's secure. So that's that for now. I'm still looking for a second side panel, and then we'll see if we can get a decent pair out of them, but that'll do. It's disappointing there's marks in the plastic elsewhere on the surface, but it's usable, or it will be usable. Right, having done all that on the side panels, a parcel has arrived, and hopefully we will see that frankly I was wasting my time. We shall see. It's from Dave Silver's. Got a receipt. Lots of paper, which will go in the log burner. And then we have a right hand and left hand side panel reproduction for the CB550. Now, I had actually looked for these before I started repairing the other one, and no one had any. They're all out of stock, presumably stuck in a boat somewhere like so much stuff. But they were £33 effectively plus VAT, which is under 40 quid each. Now, people were asking more than that for second-hand ones on eBay. In fact, there was somebody selling one which was in exactly the same state as the one I just repaired, and I think they wanted 45 quid for that. So We'll unpack one in a minute and have a look, but to be honest, I'm sure that we've got to be perfectly okay. And so while I was at, let me just move this out of the way, there's quite a lot of it. Is that everything? So also in the box, there is a rubber genuine Honda for the rear of the petrol tank. You can get reproductions, but the genuine Honda one wasn't that expensive, so I just bought it. I'd rather have the genuine bit. And then in this little packet, I'm hoping, oh, there they are. Well packed, well wrapped, which is a good sign. There is a little plastic bag. In which there is Super Sport badges, a pair of, which are going to go on the petrol tank underneath the main Honda badge. And in here, which appears to be genuine Honda again, which I was not expecting, we have you're not about to see that because it's white, but we have a Preserve Nature sticker that goes on the fuel tank. Now separately, there are a pair of side panel decals coming my way. I can't remember why I ordered them separately, but I did for some reason, not sure why. And I also have bought another can of Pour 15. Now if you look at the BSA scrambler, I wasn't happy initially with this stuff sealing the tank, but I now think it's because the tank itself, the steel is so far gone at one point that this just wouldn't do any good. Whereas the Honda tank, I think, is pretty much completely sound apart from the seams, which are not leaking that badly anyway. So I'm going to give it another go before I condemn it. So I've got some of that. That's it. So let's have a look at our side panels in more detail, shall we? Right, so look at these, shall we? Pretty well wrapped up again. Right. Got this injection moulded plastic. They look good though. Yeah, they look good. So we'll move on to sorting them out shortly. Put my stuff away somewhere safe before we do. The side panels, being plastic, always have oily residue on them. I'm assuming it's some sort of release agent. So just going to degrease them with a bit of panel wipe. I'm not bothered about the inside, it's going to stay as it is. And I've elevated them, I need to clean a bit now. I've elevated them so I can get under the edges, because we've got to give them a coat of plastic primer. Right, I think we've got all of that. Soon find out, won't we? So that just needs to flash off, which it does do very, very quickly, even in low temperatures like this. And then need a couple of coats of plastic primer, which is translucent in this one. Right, 2 coats. I'll let that flash off for a minute. Won't take long, and then they can be primed. Now I'd normally use a spray gun to put the primer on, but as it's very cold and these are brand new and should really have no defects as such, I'm just using a high build aerosol I got from my usual paint shop, and we'll just see how it goes on. It shouldn't be a problem, I should cover it well enough. I'm going to let that flash off a minute because it doesn't look like it likes the plastic primer very well. Maybe I should have used a spray gun and proper paint. Right, the second coat's just gone on, and that's gone a bit better. I think it might just be the texture of the plastic primer and the fact that the aerosol paint is so thin. So I'll let that flash off, I'll give it another couple of coats, and then at least we'll have something to flat back to. But it looks like it's going to be okay. Right, well it's covered it, which is good. But I will leave it overnight now, flat it off, have a look, and add more if necessary. But it looks fairly even now at least. Right, the petrol tank, if you watched the earlier videos, had a dent here. It was not that deep, but it spread across the roll that way, and the metal had stretched quite a long way across. There may even be a tiny bit there. Anyway, so that's where we've had to go to try and lose that. Whether we have done so successfully, we'll tell soon. So the tank's stripped and in etch. I'll etch that once I've cleaned it down, and then we'll move on to cleaning it out. I've left cleaning out until the filling was done because there's going to be a lot of dust about. Those two marks have already been stoppered, but again we're going to have to wait till the primer and things goes on to find out how close we are with that. That feels reasonably good. Although having said that, I may add a little bit more there. That's the problem because you've got a curve that way, a curve up there which then flattens into that, as well as the roll across there. So it's actually slightly awkward to do. I might add a bit more on that. I'll bring you back when that's done.